Good morning, students. Today we're going to be working through one-step equations using word problems. This worksheet that you picked up when you walked in will be turned into the basket by the time you leave today. You do need to try and finish absolutely all of it, just because you need to try and get as much practice in as you possibly can. So there's no getting out of doing this worksheet. Let's make sure that we get the whole thing done. You can use your notes, and you can also use this video to help you along with it. You are going to have a substitute today because I am out taking care of my sister who has had to go and have a procedure done. So I will be back tomorrow, I promise. It's not because I'm sick, I'm just having to take care of a family member. But I will see you guys on Tuesday. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. What I would like for you to do is actually skip questions 1, 2, and 3. Just because you've already solved problems like that before, you know that you need to do the inverse operation, and whatever you do on one side of your equation, you got to do on the other. Okay? You can use those notes that we have for these types of problems to help or give you a refresher of problems that look like 1, 2, and 3. We do not need to work them out at this time. I want us to go ahead and focus on question number 4. Okay, it says the average annual precipitation, that means rain, okay, in Berkeley, California is 26.8 inches. Albany, New York has an average precipitation of 39.4 inches. What is the difference in the two cities' average annual precipitation? So, I have two values here. I've got the value of Berkeley's rain. Excuse me, let me erase that. Berkeley's rain and of Albany's rain. And it just says, what's the difference in the two cities' average annual precipitation? So my answer is going to be the difference. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put D for difference in the average precipitation. And I'm given 39.4 inches for Albany. Now, when it says difference, that means I'm subtracting. So I'm going to go ahead and take away my average precipitation in Berkeley. Okay, so because I'm subtracting 2 decimals, that means I have to line up my decimals. Okay, I'm going to have to borrow from my 9 because I can't take 8 away from 4, making this 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. I'm going to drop my decimal down, and 38 minus 26 is 12. So the average or difference between the rain in Albany, New York versus Berkeley, California is 12.6 inches every year. Okay, so that's that first problem there. Let's go ahead and move on to another one. I want us to work through question number 5. Number 5 says the high school marching band has 196 members. Ooh, that sounds like a total to me. That's their total amount of members. 28 of those members are part of the percussion. Okay, so not everyone's part of the percussion. 28 people are. How many members are in the marching band but are not a part of the percussion? Okay, so let's think about this. If there are 196 members in the marching band, that's my total, 196. I know that 28 of them are in the percussion, but I want to know how many are not. So if I was to solve this problem, I know that I would be subtracting 28 from 196, okay? When we're working with equations, remember we're always doing the opposite. So if I want to subtract 28 from my 196 to find out how many members are in the band, then I'm going to go ahead and add my variable to that, okay? Because the goal here is to figure out the number of people that are in the marching band that are not a part of the percussion. So I'm going to go ahead and take away 28 from this side of my equation to get my variable all by itself. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. 196 minus 28 gets me exactly 168 members. Okay, and so the whole goal when working through these word problems is think about what you have to do in order to solve it, and then when you're writing out your equation, you're going to write out that opposite operation. Okay, so let's do one more for good measure. Let's practice together. For number 6, it says, on his lunch break, Crosby purchases a piece of pizza and a salad. The total order is $9.25. Perfect. So I got my total. Okay, so immediately I'm going to go ahead and put my equal sign, put $9.25. If the pizza cost $6.30, then how much was the salad? Okay, so I have my cost for my pizza, and I want to find the cost of my salad. So in order to figure out how much the salad costs, I know I'm going to have to subtract my cost of my pizza from my salad. So that means I'm going to write out my equation as an addition problem, because I know if I have my cost of my pizza plus my cost of my salad, then I'll have my total order. So what I want to do is find the cost of the salad by subtracting my 6.30 to get my cost of my salad by itself. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Remember, whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. And when I work out this, my salad comes out to $2.95. Okay? Now what I want y'all to do is for the rest of this worksheet, I want you to, or for the rest of this side, I want you to go ahead and try and solve number 7, 8, and 9 by yourselves. And then flip the paper over and continue watching the video for the back side of this notes page. Okay, on the back side here, we have a couple of problems as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of these with you, and then I want you to try and do the rest by yourself. Okay, on this side, we are working with multiplication and division. So, looking at this first problem here, it says Hank and his 2 friends are attending a concert. They purchased tickets and parking for a total of $129. Okay, so I know that that's going to be my total, $129. Okay, they decide it's easiest to split it evenly. How much does each person owe? Well, let's figure out how many people are there in general. I know that there's Hank and his 2 friends, so that means that I have 3 people total. So there's my 3, okay? I'm just going to pick a variable as X, which represents each person, since cost. So I'm going to go ahead and write that out. It's their cost, okay? So if there are 3 people, Hank and his 2 friends, attending the concert, times the cost of each of them, okay, getting a total of 129. I know that this math is going to work out right, because in order to figure out the cost per person, we would be taking our total 129 and dividing it by 3, which is what we're going to do now with our equation. We're going to take my 3x equals 129, and I'm going to divide by 3 over here so that this cancels out. And now my x is all alone. And I'm also going to divide by 3 over here. When I divide by 3, I'm going to get 43 per person. Okay, and what I can do to check that math is I can go back and I can plug in 43 for x. If I did 3 times 43, I would end up with 129 per person. Okay, so in a way, I kind of talked out the equation and worked backwards. I knew that I was going to have to divide my total amount of money by 3 in order to get my cost. So that means that I had to write out the equation as a multiplication problem, because the inverse operation of multiplication is division. Okay, so I'm kind of working backwards here. Let's do another one. A rectangle has an area of 135 feet squared. What is the length if the width is 9 feet? So my area is my total, 135 feet squared. Okay. Now, whenever you're finding the area, you're doing length times width. that's how you find your total. So I'm going to go ahead and put L for length, because that's what it's asking for. What's the length if the width is 9 feet? So I'm going to go ahead and do 9 times L equals 135 feet. Now I know if I wanted to find my length, I'm going to have to divide my 135 feet by 9 because I'm working backwards, okay? So that means that I'm going to divide both sides by 9. So if I've got 9L equals 135, I divide by 9 here, so that cancels out, and I know my length now after I take 135 and divide it by 9. Once I work that out, I would end up with 15 feet. Okay, that's my total. If you did 135 divided by 9. If I go back and plug in 15 into my equation, 9 times 15 does in fact equal 135, so that I know that I did it right. I'm going to do one more with y'all, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose to work on this by yourself. Jose has $34 to spend at the Texas State Fair. If the entrance ticket costs $12, then how much money does Jose have for food? Okay, so his total amount of money that he has is 34 bucks. All right, and we're looking for money that can be spent on food and games. So I'm going to put M for money as our variable. If the entrance ticket costs 12 bucks, okay, we know that in order to figure out how much money he has left, we're going to have to subtract 12 from 34. So this worksheet does include addition and subtraction as well. Okay, so it's not just multiplication and division. So if I know I'm going to have to find the difference between 34 and 12, then I'm going to write this as an addition problem. 12 plus my money for my food and games equals my total of 34. Now to solve it, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides. Okay, this makes my M by itself, and this becomes 22 as the money that we have left. Okay, if I put 22 back into my equation, I will in fact get 34, so that's how I know I did it right. Go ahead and try and finish up this worksheet by yourself, and then move on to the videos that I have in Schoology for you today. They're just funny videos that you have to respond to.